Dear students, you are welcome, and I wish you and all the country people a very happy 75th Independence Day. Today is 15th August 2022, and it is 5 past 5 in the evening. So I welcome you in this class, and very interesting topic, that is organic farming impacts and components. Means what are the impacts on farming, on different aspects of farming? What is the impact of organic farming on your environment? What is the impact of organic farming on the income of the farmer, on the productivity of the crop, on the soil health, and so on? How organic farming is going to impact your groundwater quality. So all these aspects I'm going to cover in this small lecture. So uh, if we recapitulate, if we want to summarize what we have covered, so if you remember that we started with the history of organic farming in the world and in India, where you studied the history, then initiatives taken by the government of India and some state, some updates on the work done by government of India to promote and support organic farming. And then we discussed the definition of organic farming, meaning of organic word and different variants of organic farming, definition, principles, and also we discussed differences with conventional farming, current status, that is data in world and India. And last time we discussed the need of organic farming, why we need it, or what are the weaknesses of conventional farming. So decline in factor productivity, unsafe food, environmental pollution, climate change, declining nutritional quality. We discussed in detail this decline in nutritional quality mainly because of climate change and deficiency of certain nutrients in soil. And we also could see why GM crops are not allowed, what are the problems associated with GM crops, and why they are not there in the organic farm. And in the end of that lecture, perhaps yesterday, we discussed certain questions that whether organic agriculture is sustainable and why fertilizers are not allowed, why GM crops are not allowed, etc. So these were some of the questions. Now we come to the today's topic, and we start with the learning objective. After attending this lecture, you will be able to understand the impacts of organic practices of farming on food quality, whether the food quality is better under organic farming compared to conventional farming. Crop productivity, do we get higher yields in organic farming compared to conventional farming? What is happening to the climate, soil health, and economics when we adopt organic farming? And also have some understanding of the various pillars or components of organic farming. What is there in organic farming? What one student would like to study in organic farming? What a farmer would be necessarily required to learn? So those are the components of organic farming or pillars of organic farming. So we are going to learn all these in this brief lecture. But before we go into the details, let us have some idea about some terminology. Many times we get confusion. So some terminology, and also refreshing your memories about crop rotation and your simpler terms, rhizobacteria and so on. So agroecology, I have already told you about the agroecology. When we apply the principles and practices of ecology to our agro ecosystems, artificial ecosystem, then it becomes your agroecology. So agroecology is a whole system approach. Remember, it is a whole system approach to agriculture that applies ecology. Ecology means as far as possible, we should take out the lessons, the teaching, the practices of what is happening in ecology. And These ecological things are applied in our agro-ecosystem design and management of sustainable production system. Means for designing them, designing means arranging different resources, arranging different practices. And management means what practices are to be followed for sustainable production system. That is your agroecology. So it also includes your human beings as a component of farming. And all it covers each and every individual associated with the organic farming plus some extra field things like your political system in the country. And all individuals are there in this agroecology. So therefore, agroecology is a whole system approach to agriculture that applies ecology to the design and management of sustainable production system. So many times you will get that the people call agroecology and organic farming as equivalent. However, organic farming is a small fraction of agroecology. Then buffer zone. Buffer zone is the area normally with respect to organic farming that divides the conventional farm or conventional farming from the organic farming. In between these two, you can have certain area that is specified by the organic standards, and that area is just buffer zone and it is not cultivated, and it remains, you can put some hedges, some shrubs or some kind of demarcation, and then two areas of the farm are separated, or two farms can be separated by buffer zone. So an area located between a certified production operation or portion of a production operation and an adjacent land area that is not maintained under organic management. And simply it is a dividing line or dividing area between two kind of production system, organic and conventional. And normally in India, it is about 3 meters. Minimum is 3 meters. Crop rotation. Crop rotation, you know, it is the plant sequence of growing different crops in the same field over a fixed period of time. So as a student, you must know definition of crop rotation, student of agriculture. It is a plant sequence, means you make a sequence in advance. You plan a sequence. Sequence means one after other, like rice wheat. Rice wheat is a sequence. So the plant sequence of growing different crops. Here you must underline the different crops in the same field over a fixed period of time. Field is same and time is also fixed, but you need to take different crops. You need to rotate them one after other. That is your crop rotation. It is opposite to the continuous cropping. Continuous cropping means monoculture, growing the same crop in the same field year after year. So it is opposed to the continuous cropping. Therefore, crop rotation is also called as sequential cropping. Now see climate change. Yeah, we already discussed it. Any systematic shift in the long-term statistics of climate elements means it is based upon the long-term, like temperature, rainfall, or winds. Means suppose there is a change of temperature by 1 degree centigrade every alternate day, and then it comes back to the previous. Then it is not. That change should be kind of permanent or long-term change in temperature, rainfall, sustained over several decades or longer. It is not diurnal or say weekly difference, but any significant difference in temperature, rainfall, or winds over decades or even longer period of time, then we can call it climate change. Stubble. Stubble is the part of the mature crop, such as base of stem, roots, but not leaves, left on the field after the harvest. So whenever you harvest the crop and you remove the biomass, harvested biomass is removed from the field, and whatever is left attached to the soil along with root is your stubble. Means when you harvest the crop near the soil surface, and there may be some stem which remain uncut, above the soil, and also the roots of the plants. That is your stubble. For example, if you harvest sugar cane, so you harvest the cane, remove it from the field, and the remaining part, which is anchored, anchored, which is anchored, means attached to the soil along with roots, part of stem, and also the roots, it makes up your stubble. It can be applicable to all kind of crops. Polyculture, it is kind of multiple cropping. Polyculture is a kind of multiple cropping, a field or cropping system with multiple interacting crops or pertaining to such a field or cropping system. Means taking two different kind of crops together or in sequence is your polyculture in a year. Smoother crop. Smoother crops is mainly grown for weed management. Means it will smoother, it will not allow weeds to grow. It will suppress the weeds. That crop is your smoother crop. So an interseeded crop sown with the intent means intention of smoothing the weeds. Smoothing means suppressing them, not allowing them to grow. Sometimes also applied to a weed suppressive cover crop grown alone. So smoother crop can be as an intercrop and it can be as a pure crop. And there are certain leguminous crops which are used as smoothing crop. For example, your cowpea. Cowpea is excellent smoothing crop. If you grow cowpea, it spreads very fast and it covers the ground. And you cannot see weeds emerging in the field where you have cowpea crop. So such kind of cropping is your smoother cropping. Agrochemical. Generally, a chemically synthesized material. See, it is chemically synthesized, means it is not natural. Chemically synthesized material used in agriculture, for example, insecticides, herbicides, or fertilizer that are man-made. Soil biodiversity. So if we understand meaning of biodiversity, we can apply it to the soil, we can apply it to the ground or above ground. So biodiversity, the variety and variability of, remember it is the variety, means their numbers, their species, number of species, here variety means, and variability of living organism. Within a species, how much is the variability? Earthworm is one. Earthworm is one, but you can have variety of earthworms. You can have variety of earthworms. The variety and variability of living organism present in the soil is considered as soil biodiversity. One spoonful of soil can contain billions or trillions of bacteria and your fungi. So our soils are very, very rich in biodiversity. Heavy metals, natural elements with atomic mass and their high density, at least 5 grams per cubic centimeter. This is the criterion for heavy metals, that their density should be at least 5 grams per cubic centimeter or higher. Then you will call that element as heavy metal. It includes your cadmium. CO means, hello, Sai. CO means
Cobalt, sir.
okay, and Cr,
Chromium.
you make full form of all these, please. After chromium, you go on reading them.
Sir, copper, iron, mercury,
Hmm.
manganese, molybdenum, lead, and zinc.
Excellent. So these are considered as heavy metals. Of course, zinc is a micronutrient, molybdenum, manganese. They are also micronutrient or essential nutrients. But when their concentration is beyond certain levels, it becomes toxic. Or you can say some tolerable limits is there. On one hand, they are essential, but on the other hand, they are also treated as heavy metals. Now, rhizosphere. Rhizosphere is the soil zone near the plant roots. So the soil which is close to the roots and the area of roots, everything is your rhizosphere, means zone of the root, where microbes flourish in greater numbers and have more activity than the bulk soil. So there can be two kind of soils. One is soil which is there in the rhizosphere, and one soil is just away from the rhizosphere. So soil which is away from the rhizosphere is called as bulk soil, and soil which is part of rhizosphere is called as rhizospheric soil. So rhizospheric soil means the soil up to the length of you can say 1 to 3 millimeter only, 1 millimeter to 3 millimeters. Suppose you have a root is like this. You have a root, and the soil which is just up to 3 millimeter away, 3 millimeter, just 3 millimeter away from the root is your rhizospheric soil. Means soil in the direct vicinity or direct contact of the root up to a thickness of 1 to 3 millimeter is your rhizospheric soil. So rhizospheric soil gets some root exudates. Some root exudates are mixed into the soil, and these root exudates are kind of food for the microbes. So many microbes will be attracted towards this food and they would like to eat it. But at the same time, it is kind of association of give and take. Give and take. The microbes are getting food from the plant through rhizodeposition or root exudation, and then the microbes are multiplying in number, and they also change the environment, rhizospheric soil environment, and they can add some enzymes, some proteins, some vitamins, some hormones into the soil, and that can promote the root growth. But at the same time, this rhizospheric soil can also have deleterious organism or harmful organism that may cause certain problem in the plant, that may cause the diseases. Certain organism can cause diseases. So it is not that always you will have beneficial organism in the rhizospheric soil. You can also have harmful organism in the rhizospheric soil. Is this clear? Rhizosphere, the root zone. Nutrient concentration versus content. Many times students use them interchangeably. So uh, the level of nutrients in plant, the concentration of nutrient in plant should be expressed as concentration. It should not be called as content. Many times we write nitrogen content in soil sample, nitrogen content in plant leaf. So we should call it nutrient concentration. And we can name the nutrient, for example, if it is potassium, then we can say potassium concentration in leaf, or manganese concentration in root. So that is your concentration, and content is reported on gram or kilogram per unit area basis. That is the difference in concentration and content. So concentration is usually expressed in grams, that is your weight per kilogram. So weight by weight, you can say weight by weight, or milligram per kilogram. In ppm also you can report it, of dry or fresh weight. It depends upon your choice whether you are reporting the concentration of nutrient on dry basis or fresh weight basis. Content is usually expressed as weight per unit area. So this is weight per unit area, and that is weight by weight or gram per kilogram. So here it is kilogram per hectare of nutrient is your content, and otherwise you can write it as nutrient concentration. Soil amendment, substances other than fertilizer. For example, lime, sulfur, gypsum, and sawdust used to alter the chemical or physical properties of a soil. So these are called as soil amendment. The basic purpose of adding soil amendment to improve the physical and chemical conditions of the soil. So rhizobacteria, as the name suggests, rhizo means roots, Bacteria, root bacteria means bacteria which is living in the vicinity or in the nearness of the roots is your rhizobacteria. Bacteria especially adapted to colonizing. Colonizing here means living, colonizing the surface of the plant roots and the soil immediately around the plant roots. Or that soil is your rhizospheric soil. So bacteria that are living uh, in rhizospheric soil are your rhizobacteria. Some have effects that promote plant growth. By releasing certain hormone, they can promote the plant growth, while others have effects that are deleterious to plants. So you can have both kind of rhizobacteria, harmful as well as useful. Similarly, you can also have fungi, rhizofungi, something like that. Humification. Humification means formation of humus. The simplest thing is formation of humus. The process by which the carbon of organic substances is transformed and resynthesized to humic substances is your humification. What happens when your decomposition of organic matter happens in soil or when you are preparing manure like composting, or when you have farmyard manure that is getting composted, or your organic matter is decomposing in soil. This decomposition can happen under two conditions. One is under aerobic condition, other is under anaerobic condition. When decomposition is happening under aerobic condition, it is mostly carbon dioxide is produced, the energy released is high, and it is done by aerobic microbes. Aerobic microbes, your fungi and bacteria, they decompose the matter. Under anaerobic condition, the process is done in the absence of oxygen. And organisms which are anaerobic in nature, they do the reduction of organic matter. And the process under anaerobic condition is very, very slow. And aerobic digestion or aerobic decomposition of organic matter is very, very fast. So that is the difference. But both will ultimately produce your humus. When organic matter is decomposed, two important processes happen together. One is humification, other is mineralization. Mineralization is the formation of inorganic nutrients that can be taken up by microbes in the soil or can be taken up by the plants. So mineralization and humification, they are happening together. In half of the, how to say it, there are two important processes in decomposition, humification and mineralization. So humus is formed and your these mineral nutrients are also formed. So that is your mineralization. I will teach you sometimes later when if I deal about decomposition of organic matter, this topic will be covered. Microbial biomass. So as the name suggests, microbial means it is related to microbes. Biomass is simply your weight. So this includes the smallest living organism, such as bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, actinomycetes, nematodes, and non-living organisms like plants and viruses. So weight of all these organisms is your microbial biomass. And whatever carbon is there in all these microbes, that will make your microbial biomass carbon. And whatever nitrogen amount is there in these microbes, that will be called as microbial biomass nitrogen, MBN, MBC, and microbial biomass. Is it clear? Microbial biomass carbon, microbial biomass nitrogen.
Yes.
Then this is the last slide on terminology, perhaps. So crop waste. Crop waste are basically these are organic waste. So organic materials left in an agricultural field or orchard after crop harvest. So crop waste may include your stalks, stubbles, leaves, and seed pods, etc. So actually they are not waste. They are very useful material. They find many alternate uses, but it is a tradition that people call them as crop waste. Animal waste. Similarly, animal waste are not actually waste. They are very, very useful products. So waste is for the animal. This waste is for the animal, not for us. So waste produced by farm animals on and off the farm. They can urinate in the house or in the place or in the shed, and they can urinate or give their dung outside the house. It does not matter whether they are excreting in the house or in the shed or away from the house. So waste produced by farm animals on and off the farm. For example, they can give it in the cattle shed. Cattle shed is the example where you will find dung, urine, digested slurry from the gobar gas plant, and your droppings of sheep and goat, remains from slaughterhouses. So slaughterhouses, you can get some remains like skin, hoof, horns, blood, and so on. So these all are part of animal waste. Organic waste are organic material that are biodegradable and coming from plant or animal origin and can be green food or pruning waste. Litter. So litter is mostly in agroforestry systems or in our crop production system. It is mostly in pigeon pea. In pigeon pea, if you see a lot of leaf fall is there in pigeon pea, and leaf fall on the surface of the soil and they make a layer. So that is actually called as a litter. So loose organic debris, leaves, twigs are small branches, leaves and twigs on the surface of earth consisting of freshly fallen or slightly decomposed organic material. If you go to forest area or agroforestry system, you will see a lot of leaf fall is there, and they make a thick layer. Sometimes they make a thick layer, and the region or part of the litter which is close to soil gets moisture and microbes and start decomposition. The portion of the litter which is little away from the soil surface will decompose later. Roughage. Bulky and coarse plant materials of high fiber, low proportion of nutrients and total digestible nutrients. That is your roughage. Normally your green fodder, dry fodder, they are considered as roughage for animals. So any question, any doubt in the glossary? Yeah, Subhanshu. Any doubt?
No, sir.
All right. Now we come to the main topic, and that is your impact of organic farming. Impact of organic farming we will see on food quality and safety, production productivity, income economics, soil and ecosystems, climate and air, ground and surface water. So these are the impacts of organic farming. And if you see, most of the impacts are positive impact. Most of the impacts are positive impacts. Therefore, if someone asks you the benefits or advantages of organic farming, then you can put, if you remember all these impacts, then you can answer it very well. So many times, if you have clear concepts are clear in your mind, then questions can be asked in many ways. So, but if concepts are clear, you can answer them in a better way. So if we understand the impacts, so most of the impacts are positive, and there can be some impacts which are negative. So negative impacts can become your limitation, can become your demerit of organic farming or disadvantages of organic farming, and positive impacts will be your advantages or merits or positive effects of organic farm. So very easy to interpret it. So we'll see one by one how organic farming impacts different aspects. Now let us start with the nutritional quality of organic foods. So here question comes, whether the organic products are more nutritious than conventional product, whether organic products are safe or not compared to conventional product, whether they taste better, whether the taste, not just nutrition, but whether the taste of organic products, color, shape, size is better than the conventional products. So all are included in the quality. So let us first see the nutritional quality. Whether organic products contain more protein, more vitamins, more enzymes, more dry matter compared to conventional product. That is the question. So here, this is the review, very famous review in organic farming literature. So people, this author was Dangoor in 2009. This was very important and scientific contribution. And it was a meta-analysis. Meta-analysis or systematic review. It is a kind of review where some scientific basis is considered while reviewing a subject. For example, organic farming gives you better product, and organic farming does not give you better product than conventional farming. Means there can be null hypothesis. Null hypothesis means there is no difference in food quality of organic and conventional. An alternative hypothesis can be that there are differences in nutritional quality of organic and conventional product. That can be your alternative hypothesis. So in the olden days, what people used to do, they will collect the review of literature, and suppose they have collected 100 research paper which are comparing the quality of conventional and organic products. Now they will start counting the papers, number of papers, how many papers are in favor of null hypothesis, and how many papers are in favor of alternative hypothesis. So suppose out of 100 paper, 40 papers are saying that there is no difference in food quality of organic products. But 60 papers are saying that the product quality of organic products is better than the conventional farming. So here more number of papers are in favor of improved quality, nutritional quality of organic products compared to conventional quality. Means large number of papers are supporting this hypothesis. Therefore, when an author is writing a review paper, he will conclude that the organic products have better quality than the conventional product. But here, the author can be biased. Author can be biased. There is no scientific basis, and it is mostly based upon numbers. So what people did, they developed a new science, new subject, where they do some statistical analysis to prove H0 and H1, whether there is difference, significant difference in food quality, or is it by chance, or is it genuinely there. So to do so, they go for meta-analysis. It is a statistical analysis to prove whether a particular hypothesis may be true or may be wrong. It can be done for any aspect of agriculture. So therefore, meta-analysis and systematic review, they are equivalent. Sometimes you will find systematic review and sometimes you will find meta-analysis. So we go to the next link. We stop share. So hope this meta-analysis or systematic review concept is clear to you. Means they employ certain statistical procedures, certain tests, and they draw some conclusion based upon the existing literature. They prove whether a particular hypothesis is right or wrong. So it was a meta-analysis by Dangoor and co-workers in 2009, and they have taken a lot of papers on organic farming, which were comparing the food quality under organic and conventional farming. Means product produced under conventional and organic farming. So you can see the results that were obtained by them. Comparison of content of nutrients and other nutritionally relevant substances in organically and conventionally produced crops. So you can see first column, it is giving the nutrient, say nitrogen, vitamin C, phenolic compounds, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, and so on. And how many studies, how many research papers compared, these are the number. The nitrogen content in the food, 17 studies or paper compared it. Vitamin C, 14. And likewise, you can see different number of the studies that were conducted. Number of comparisons, how many comparisons were made? 64, 65, and so on. And then you can see standard difference, probability, and so on. And lastly, you can see the first column and the last column. You don't bother about other columns, just see first column and last column. For example, nitrogen. Nitrogen was more in conventional product. Organic products that are produced in conventional farming are richer in nitrogen. Significantly, they contain more nitrogen than the organic product. Then comes the vitamin C. No difference, means your organic product and conventional product, they will have the same level of vitamin C. Similarly, phenolic compounds, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, calcium, up to calcium, there is no difference. So both kind of products have equal level of these nutrients. Now coming to phosphorus, so it is more in organic product. Phosphorus is more in organic product than the conventional product. However, potassium, zinc, total soluble solids, and copper, there is no difference. And lastly, you can see titrable acidity, which was more in organic. So you can see out of many of these parameters of nutrient category, only 3 were different. One was, that was nitrogen. Nitrogen was higher in conventional product, and phosphorus and titrable acidity were significantly higher in organic product. So these authors concluded that there is no significant difference in food quality or nutritional quality of organic product and conventional products. So therefore, this paper became very famous in the world, and many newspapers made their stories that why to pay extra money if the nutritional quality of the product is same. If the nutrient content is same in organic and conventional, then why to buy the organic product? So this is how the subject started. But what happened in the end, it was found that this study was funded by some pesticide companies. Pesticide companies had their interest, and it was this point was raised and objected by many people that this study was premeditated. Premeditated means you have already decided what you are going to conclude. That is, you are premeditated. You have already decided. In cricket, sometimes you see batsman, when a ball comes, he already decided that I will hammer it to the left or right, already decided. So that was premeditated shot. So, but science always goes on. Whatever was suggested by these people was rejected by many people. So during the same year, in 2009, one more review came on nutritional quality and safety of organic food. The Dangur paper, the last paper, talked about the nutrient content, the nutritional composition, but it has forgotten the safety of the product, whether the organic product are really safe than the conventional product. That paper could not tell, because organic products are much safer than the conventional product. They may contain less level of pesticide and harmful substances. So therefore, now in this paper, it was published independently in France in 2009, Nutritional Quality and Safety of Organic Food, a review. So you can see, I am just telling you the conclusion or kind of abstract of this paper by Leron, 2009. What did he say? Organic plant products contain more dry matter and minerals, iron, magnesium, and antioxidants, phenol and salicylic acids. So organic products are richer in nutrients compared to conventional products. So this has been proved by this paper. Second is that organic animal products like milk, butter, ghee, dahi, or any product made from this milk will contain more polyunsaturated fatty acid compared to saturated fatty acids. So actually, unsaturated fatty acids are beneficial, are useful compared to saturated fatty acids. So you will have more polyunsaturated fatty acids in organic animal products compared to conventional animal products. And 94 to 100% of organic food does not contain any pesticide residue. That means hardly it is 6%. 6% organic products can have, or up to 6% of the organic products can have pesticide residue. Otherwise, most of the organic products are safe. They do not contain any pesticide. You can read this statement again. 94 to 100% of organic food does not contain any pesticide residue. Means it is likely that 6% products up to 6% can contain some pesticide. Now question comes, where from this pesticide can come to the organic products? We are not using any pesticide because we are following certain standards and certification agencies also there. But still some organic products can contain pesticide. Now question comes, where from these pesticides are coming? Or what do you think, Sai or Subhranshu? Any one of you can give answer.
From
Yeah, you are not audible.
earlier application which remains,
Eh?
sir, from earlier application which remains in the soil.
From what application?
Earlier application which is being used earlier to organic.
Okay. Sumit, there is some problem. We could not hear you clearly, no problem. I give the answer. It is now raining in Delhi, you know. It started raining very heavily in Delhi just now. So what is happening? Some of the air pollutants, you know, pollutants, they are there in the air. And when it is raining, they can come to the soil. So they will not discriminate whether your field is organic or conventional. This rainfall will fall on all the fields. So therefore, rainfall can bring some pesticides. Also, your groundwater can also bring your some pesticides, and also your irrigation water from canal or some other sources can also bring some pesticides and heavy metals in organic plots also. So main is water can be the source, and sometimes your manures, organic manures, because organic manure from non-conventional farming can be allowed in organic farming. We do not have very strict laws and rules and guidelines. If certification agency is satisfied that this particular crop residue or this particular manure produced from conventional animal is not having any pesticide, just it is satisfied, it will not go for testing of the pesticide in manures, then those manures can also be used. So such manure can be source of pesticides. So therefore, some organic product can also have certain quantities of pesticides. The next fourth point is organic vegetable contain far less nitrate, about 50% less nitrate. And you can see the nitrate concentration, especially in leafy vegetable like spinach, methi, or coriander, may be very high. Nitrate problem is there. Nitrate accumulation is there in leafy vegetables. But if you grow them by organic methods, they contain 50% less nitrate. That is good for health, especially young babies. Now you see, this paper is published in British Journal of Nutrition, and this paper conclusively or very clearly established that your organic products contain higher levels of antioxidant and lower level of cadmium. Means lower level of heavy metals in organic product and higher level of antioxidant. Again, a systematic literature review and meta-analysis. So based upon several papers, these people have worked out and they have claimed or they have suggested that antioxidants are basically certain chemicals, certain substances in our food that help us to clean our blood. They clean the free radicals, or simply they wash the toxic material from our blood. So they are very, very useful. They find kind of healthy things. Everybody would like to have antioxidants in their food. Higher the value, better is our health. So, for example, your grapes, your purple color grapes, your papaya, tomato, the colored fruits and colored vegetables contain relatively more antioxidants than their other counterparts. So, antioxidants higher in organic food, particularly phenolic acids. Phenolic acids are antioxidants, and this phenolic acid can be 19%. 19% flavonols, 69%, still beans, 28%, flavones, 26%, flavonols, 50%, anthocyanins, 51%. All these are different classes of antioxidant or different names of antioxidants. So if you take the average value of all, it will come out somewhere around 50%. So on an average, your organic products contain 50% higher levels of antioxidant in food compared to conventional food. Any question, any point of discussion up to now? Sumit, or any one of you?
No, sir.
We have covered the quality aspect, quality of organic products. And I just forgot to tell you the taste also. The taste. Organic products are better in taste. There are a number of studies which suggest that organic products are really better in taste. I tell you one study which was conducted on rats. Assume there were two groups of rats. Just it is assumption from my side. Suppose one group contained 10 rats, other group also contained 10 rats, and all the 20 rats were roughly identical. Their age was same, their weight was same, everything was almost similar, or you can say the experimental unit was same. So they were divided into two groups, and equal quantity of food was given to both. Suppose, just assume, one group was organic and it was given, say, 200 grams of food, organic food. Other was conventional group, which was also given the same quantity of food. So what happened? The organic group finished the food much faster in less time compared to the conventional group. That means, why did they finish it fast? Because it was tasty. When anything tasty given to us, we eat it very fast. If the thing is not very tasty, very, you see, bland and no spices, nothing, so you will eat very slowly and you will also eat less. So tasty things are generally eaten more. So such kind of things are there, that organic products are tasty. Sometimes they give you better smell and aroma also. So taste is also good for organic products. Now, after seeing the quality, now see the quantity, the yield, comparing the yield of organic and conventional agriculture. So this has been a very important subject since beginning. Now I am telling you the main conclusions about productivity of organic and conventional farming. So productivity generally is 10 to 35% 10 to 35% less during initial years. Okay, so there is reduction of 10 to 35% in the productivity of organic products compared to conventional farm. Suppose in conventional farming, you are getting 100 units. So during conversion period to organic farming, you will get say 65 to 90% of 100. So that is the meaning. So there is reduction of 10 to 35% in yield of organic farming. So this is one statement. And now second statement is that this productivity difference is basically also based upon kind of crop. If you are having cereals, the requirement of cereal for nutrient is very high. Your maize, your rice, your wheat, barley, sorghum, etc. These are cereal crops. So nutrient requirement is high. So if you do the farming of these cereal crops, the reduction in productivity will be more because nutrient requirement is high. But if you are taking a pulse crop in organic system, the reduction in yield will be less. In cereals, it can be as high as 35%, 40%. But in pulses, it can be 10 to 15%, less reduction in yield. Similarly, if the same crop you are taking under two conditions, like wheat you are taking under irrigated conditions and in rain-fed conditions. So naturally, the decrease in yield will be more in irrigated condition compared to rain-fed condition in the same crop. So reduction in yield depends upon the soil, the region, the intensity of cropping, and the kind of crop. So they all together decide that how much reduction will be there in the yield. Could you get this point? The reduction in yield is subjective to the kind of crop you are taking in example, kind of area or soil, kind of farm intensity, means whether it is intensive farming or extensive farming, and so on. For example, if you convert to organic farming in Punjab, convert to organic farming. Similarly, if you also convert to organic farming in Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan, where the productivity decline in organic system will be more. Will it be more in Punjab? Will it be more in Rajasthan? What is your take? What is your view?
Sir, due to heavy use of fertilizer, the fertility get reduced. So it will take time for the recovery.
Very good. In
So
Punjab. So you mean productivity decline, reduction will be more in Punjab compared to Rajasthan. Do you wanted to say this, or do you have some different idea?
that's it, sir.
Okay. So that is true that in Punjab, Punjab means intensive cultivation is going on. They are using high yielding varieties, hybrids. They are using large quantity of fertilizers and pesticides. And if you take case of Rajasthan, they are not growing rice, they are not growing wheat, they are growing millets, they are growing your mustard and some pulses, etc. And also your pearl millet. And also the application rate of nutrients are already low. And in Punjab, the nutrient application rates are high. So naturally, the reduction in yield in Rajasthan will be less because it was already close to organic. They were using very less quantity of fertilizer, less quantity of pesticide. But in Punjab, soil used to get adapted to heavy doses of nutrients. Like somebody might be using alcoholic drinks. You see, alcoholic drink. In the beginning, he will start with less quantity, and slowly he will increase his level to get satisfaction, to get same satisfaction. In the beginning, the small dose will be enough, but with the passage of time, his requirement increases. Similarly, in case of soil, as you make it addicted to fertilizer and pesticides, so it will need more and more. I was talking about decline in factor productivity, gave you some reasons. So similarly here also, the uh, the 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 crops have been adjusted or adapted to heavy nutrient and heavy use of pesticide. If you don't do that, there will be sharp reduction. There are certain drug addicts who are addicted to drugs. If you don't give them drug, they will die. Similarly, Punjab soil, if it is not getting the same quantity of pesticide or same quantity of fertilizer, it will not give you good yields. There will be sharp reduction in the yield. Some drug addicts, they can die if they are not getting drugs. Same is the case of soil. If they are not getting these chemicals, and it will not give you better produce. I can give you one more example, that a person who is living in Delhi, he moved to say Shimla. Shimla is a hill station having clean air, and that person has fallen sick in Shimla, and many doctors came, lot of tests were done, and no doctor was successful in treating that person. He was still sick. So one local person came, and he simply asked that where from this person has come. Then he said that, okay, I am from Delhi. Okay, bring 4 or 5 motorcycles and make smoke and make the conditions of Delhi here. So you are from environmental science, you understand. Then smoke was made around his room and he was fine, because he has already adapted to Delhi conditions, which are really maybe bad. Pollution may be bad, but he will not be able to face the fresh air. He has adapted to these pollutants, but he did not face the fresh air. So likewise, the reduction in yield is more in Punjab or intensive cultivation area compared to extensive cultivation. So on this, now you can see that some more papers are there. Developed countries' average yield losses under organic management range from 0 to 20%. So these yield losses vary, but um, this paper was published in Nature, and it is acceptable to a lot of people, many people. And this paper says that there is about 10 to 35% reduction in yield, but which is subjective. Means in irrigated area, the reduction will be 35%. In rain-fed area, reduction will be 10%. So this was the conclusion. Now, people have suggested their own views here and there, like in Europe, it was 0 to 20% reduction. Pretty and Hine surveyed 208 projects in developing tropical countries in which contemporary organic practices were introduced, and found that average yield increased by 5 to 10% in irrigated crops and 50 to 100% in rain-fed crops. So according to these authors, the yields increased. Now you see this, I talked to you about Rodale Institute. You can see this data is from Rodale Institute. And you can see this graph. You can see this graph, and the first item is yield. The green bar gives the yield in organic, and gray colored bar gives the yield in conventional. It is pounds per acre per year. So you can see it is, or you can see, you can convert to our Indian or any other unit, say 4 ton per hectare or kilograms. So you can see there is almost similar yields. Next is your profit. You can see the green bar. So profit is more in organic farming compared to conventional farming. Then you see the energy input. So energy input is more in conventional farming compared to organic farming. If your energy input is more, that means your cost of cultivation will be more, your pollution will be more. So organic farming will give you less pollution of the environment and less cost of cultivation. So therefore, you can see the last 2 bars, green one, greenhouse gas emissions. You can see they are less in organic and more in conventional. So this summarizes the whole story of yield, profit, energy, and greenhouse gases. Means yields are same, profit is more, energy input is less, and greenhouse gas emission is also less. And also they suggested that suppose there is drought or suppose there is scanty rainfall, so yield reduction will be more in conventional farming than in organic farming. There is drought here and you have two farms, one is organic and one is conventional, and you have same kind of crop on both the farms. So yield reduction will be, percentage yield reduction will be more in a conventional farm compared to organic farm. Because in organic farm, your soils will have more organic matter in the soil. More organic matter in the soil means that the water holding capacity of the soil will be more, and these crops can face the drought better than the crops which are grown in conventional farming. Now, this is trial conducted at IRI. We started this trial in 2001, and first 3 years were transitional. First 2 years it was conventional, and then from 2003 up to 2006, from 2003 up to 2006, you can see it was transitional period. Means it was considered as conversion period for first 3 years, and then since 2006 it became fully organic. And there were 2 rotations that were compared in this experiment. You can see the layout, you can see the treatments of this experiment. In columns, we had rice wheat system and rice wheat mung bean system. So there were 2 cropping system, and there were 7 nutrient management practices: organic, nutrient management, control, FYM, vermicompost, farmyard manure plus crop residue, vermicompost plus crop residue, farmyard manure plus crop residue plus biofertilizer, vermicompost plus crop residue plus biofertilizer. So there were different supplies of the nutrient, different sources of the nutrients. So just I wanted to show you some data that you can see these are 2 cropping system, one on the left side, this data, and other is on the right side. So first you see the left side, rice wheat yield in tons per hectare. So first column, you can see it is year 2006, 7, 7, 8, and so on, 15, 16. And then you see the next column, R is for rice. So rice yields are 4.2, 4.51, and so on. If you take the average of rice yield, it is 4.10. Similarly, after rice, wheat was taken, 3.57, 4.47, and if you take the average of 10 years, it was 3.7. Just you see these 2 values. So here, the rice was basmati rice and wheat was high-yielding variety. So you can see the basmati rice yields were good. 4.1 ton per hectare is considered as good yield, and it is almost same to the conventional yield of rice. But wheat yields were lower, 3.7 tons per hectare. See the another rotation, the 2 crops in another rotation, rice, wheat, mung bean. So if you see the column of rice, the yield is 4.68 tons per hectare. However, without mung bean, the yield was 4.1 ton per hectare. So it has increased by about 0.5 ton, from 4.1 to 4.68. Similarly, yield has increased from 3.7 to 4 tons per hectare for wheat. So that means it is also giving you 0.3 tons extra yield. So overall 0.3 extra yield of rice and 0.5 of rice and 0.3 of wheat, 0.8 tons per hectare rice plus wheat. Extra yield was supported by mung bean crop. So therefore diversification of rotation is important. And in this case, you can see the rice yield were almost similar to conventional. I'm not showing you the data of conventional yields, but it was same to conventional yield, but wheat yields are lower, 3.7 tons per hectare. They are still lower. So in northern India, I tell you, in northern India, you can do organic farming for 8 years, 10 years, something like that. But Rabi crop yields, winter crop yields If you take cereal crops in winter, like wheat, the yields are lower. Even after 10 years of organic farming, the yields are lower, mainly because of a slow decomposition of organic nutrients or organic matter or organic manures during winter months. Therefore, the release of nutrient is slow and yield of the Rabi crop or winter crops are lower in northern India. Now you can see this data is from Meerut. Meerut, now you have Indian Institute of Farming System Research. And I told you there is one network project on organic farming, All India project. And they are doing a lot of trials on different crops. In first column, you can see maize, sorghums, mung bean, chickpea, soybean. Number of crops are there. They are grown in different parts of the country. And these are number of trials or number of comparisons, 67, 52, and so on. And you can see the increase in yield. This is after seventh or eighth year of the cycles. So after 6-7 years, you can see the yield was almost 100% or more than 100%. Means you are getting after seventh year, you are getting extra yield in organic farming compared to conventional farming. But for first 6-7 years, yields are lower in organic farming. And you can see these yields in winter crops, 93%, 93%, 99%. So in these, you can see there is somewhat less yield, 10% or 7% less yield. So overall, you can see some conclusion from Meerut. Yield of basmati rice, soybean, garlic, peanuts, cauliflower, and tomato crops was 4 to 6% higher over conventional farming. Our mung bean, onion, chili, cabbage, and turmeric yields were 7 to 14% higher over conventional. Wheat, mustard, lentil, potato, and rajma, these are winter crops or rabi crops, were 5 to 8% lower. The amount of biocarbon or carbon increased by 22% in 6 years. So naturally, you are adding organic manure, so your carbon will increase. Now, economics. Average gross margins from organic cotton were 30 to 40% higher. So your gross return were higher. Your 10 to 20% decreased cost of cultivation and 20% extra price, premium price. So overall, they suggested this data is from India, and they suggested 10 to 20% higher income in organic farm. Cost of production is reduced and you get higher price. So therefore, the margin, the profit is more in organic farming. Now, quickly, you can see what are the impacts of organic farming on soil. Reduce soil erosion because you are adding organic matter and it improves your soil structure, the binding of the organic particles, the soil particles, and therefore erosion is reduced. Your nutrients are conserved in the soil. Soil fertility improves. Carbon content improves. I'm not going into the details, but carbon content improves. Just now you have seen in 5 years, there was 22% increase in carbon content. So it is natural also that you are adding organic manure, so they are going to increase the organic carbon. And higher MBCs, microbial biomass carbon, and microbial biomass nitrogen, and net mineralizable nitrogen, enhanced microbial activity. So all are good things happening, enhanced aggregate stability and water retention in soil. So water holding capacity of the soil increases. Liu 2013 reported that organic systems use water more efficiently. And you can see as you increase the carbon content or organic matter content in soil from 0 to 30 centimeter, the water holding capacity increases linearly. So if you have 0.5% organic matter in soil, this is just a typical example. For more medium kind of soils, they can have 80,000 liters of water in 0 to 30 centimeter. If you increase organic matter to 1%, this water can be 160,000 liters, and then 2% more water, 3% more water, up to, it is like this. So as you increase more organic matter, so is the increased level of water. Now, impacts on soil. So just you have seen that organic matter content is increasing, That means the food for organism is also increasing. So enhance earthworm activity, enhance microbial activity, enhance your nematode activities. Nematode are not always harmful. There are great number of nematodes which are useful in decomposition of organic matter. So nematode population, useful nematode population increases in organic farming. And then you can see enhanced groundwater or surface water and air quality. Improved, reduced nitrate leaching. Here there is slow release of nitrogen or slow mineralization. Therefore, nitrate leaching is reduced, denitrification is reduced, and ammonia water detach. So therefore, it is good for the environment. In a long-term study in southern Germany, these workers found reduced N2 emission rate in organic. So good number of papers are there that organic farming is environment friendly. You will get less pollution than conventional farming. Impact on groundwater and ecosystem. So less N2 emission into the air or atmosphere, less nitrate leaching into the soil, and increased organic matter means you can retain more water. So water losses are less, water use efficiency is improved, carbon sequestration happens, and extensive analysis suggests that organic farming is associated with higher levels of biodiversity, more biodiversity, above ground biodiversity, and below ground biodiversity. So I will, now we will go to the third link, and then we will finish it at about 7. And I seek your cooperation and hope that you will be there. And in the next lecture, we will start the core pillars or components of organic farming. What are the important components of organic farming? So we can start. And now we end, stop share here.